I've been looking everywhere for you, Messiah. If only you humans didn't all look the same.
I was called to the keep on important business, Bowden.
Yes, I was hoping to catch you before you arrived. There's a gentleman waiting at the mansion. He insists on seeing you. He says his name is Dougal. Your mother thought it wise, I tell you, Messiah.
I paid Dougal years ago. Why would he be back now?
He wouldn't tell me, I'm afraid. He refused to come back another day, even after I told him repeatedly that I didn't know when you would return. He doesn't really seem like the most reputable sort, I'm afraid, even for a dwarf.
You left him alone in the mansion with Mother?
My boy Sandal is with her. But, you make a good point. I'll run back right away. Before I go, may I simply say how grateful I am that you've allowed my boy to stay in your home. I said I would repay you for saving Sandal's life, and I shall serve you faithfully. It is good to know he is safe.
I didn't ask you to be my manservant, Bowden.
But I owe you a debt, and after what happened in the deep roads, I have no other way to repay you. I'll leave you to your business. Don't forget about your guest. Your mother claims he was eyeing the silverware.
Good day, Sirrah. We'll need to give them answers by tomorrow, Captain.
I'll have them. Dismissed.
The Seneschal was particularly vocal.
Dismissed. You'd think the Captain of the Guard could requisition a Templar or two, but no, that would be demeaning. Can't have them working for the people when eternity needs a nanny.
You had to know cleaning up this mess would be difficult.
It's not the challenge, it's the unending part. And really, I blame you. You poured money into a pot that was already full. Everything has shifted. Good job validating the fears of every anti-Ferelden and Kirkwall.
I didn't realize I was making it worse by getting ahead.
I'm just harassing you. Although you are a bit like the center of a hurricane. You've changed fortunes for many people, not always for the better.
Sounds like you're spreading yourself pretty thin.
There are a lot of people in my charge. Someone has to look out for them.
You guard the guardsmen?
I don't turn people loose like Jevon. There's additional training, doubled patrols. Costs are up, but I've halved injuries. I'll take it and argue with Seneschal Bran later.
After the last captain, you couldn't have expected this to be easy.
At least I had the guards on my side. Once they understood, they rallied. And those who didn't weren't fit to hold the crest. Stack friends against the enemies. I don't know if I came out ahead, but it's for the better.
Grouse all you want, but the Aveline I know doesn't regret a second as captain.
They'd have to drag me out of here. And I'm sure some are lining up to try. You among them, I bet. Haven't had much time to follow you around. Not that I need to. I can trust that you at least try to do right. I'm with you if you need me, Hawk. Just say the word.
So the Seneschal's tax collector won't be coming around again like you asked. Funny story.
I'll pass, but thank you for the help.
Spoil sport? Why you want to squat up here in Hightown is beyond me.
I like the view.
So do I.
Three years. There's still no sign of Denarius. I'm beginning to wonder if he's finally given up.
This is his mansion, isn't it? He must know you're here.
Would you be surprised to learn that it isn't, in fact, his mansion? It belongs to a Tevinter merchant, one who has evidently given up on the place. Perhaps he is dead. Perhaps Denarius killed him. Either way, if Denarius is aware of my presence, he has done nothing.
Isn't this what you wanted?
Yes, but... Tell me, what do you do when you stop running?
You start over. Isn't that what you want?
I don't know how. My first memory is receiving these markings. The lyrium being branded into my flesh. The agony wiped away everything. Whatever life I had before I became a slave, it's lost. I shouldn't trouble you with this. My problems are not yours.
You don't know who you were?
Fenris was the name Denarius bestowed upon me, his little wolf. If I once had another name or a family, then they were taken from me. But again, this is not your concern.
I might be able to help with your problems. Or give you a few more.
Only a few.
The good kind.
Tempting. You're a beautiful woman, Hawk. Is there no one else who has your attention?
Do you see anyone else here?
I'm an escaped slave and an elf living in a borrowed mansion. None of those things bother you?
Why do you think that would bother me?
You are not most people, clearly. You raise an interesting point. I'll have to consider it. Last bottle of the Egregio. I've been saving it for a special occasion.
And what's that?
The anniversary of my escape. Astia Vala Femundis. Care to hear the story?
I thought you avoided talking about this.
Not on special occasions.
I enjoy listening to you talk.
There are few pleasures greater than speaking with a beautiful woman. Let's see. You've heard of Saharan? The Imperium and the Qunari have fought over the island for centuries now. I was there with Denarius during a Qunari attack. I managed to get him to a ship, but there was no room for a slave. I was left behind. I barely got out of the city alive.
I thought Denarius considered you valuable.
He wasn't given a choice. The look on his face as the ship pulled out was priceless. There are rebels in the Saharan jungles called Fog Warriors. They found me and took me in, nursed me back to health. I stayed with them for a time, until Denarius finally came for me.
Were you with these Fog Warriors willingly?
I'd grown fond of the rebels. They bowed to no master and fought for their freedom. It was beyond my experience. When Denarius came, they refused to let him take me. He ordered me to kill them. So I did. I killed them all.
Why would you do such a thing?
It felt inevitable. My master had returned and this fantasy life was over. But once it was done, I looked down at their bodies. I felt I couldn't. I ran and never looked back.
Didn't Daenerys stop you?
The rebels had wounded him. The soldiers he brought attempted to capture me, unsuccessfully. It was weeks before Daenerys was able to mount the hunt in earnest, but by then, I was already gone.
Couldn't you have found other Fog Warriors? Become a rebel?
Even if I did, I felt unworthy. I had no way of knowing if I could truly escape from Daenerys then. I didn't even know what that meant. I simply had to get away. I stowed aboard a ship to the mainland and moved south, chased by my former master every step of the way.
I have to wonder why you stayed with Daenerys as long as you did.
You have not been a slave. A slave does not dream of freedom or wonder at possibilities. You think only of your master's desires and what the next hour will bring. It did not occur to me that I could be anything else until I had a taste of it.
But there are stories of slaves rebelling all the time. They did in Kirkwall.
The ritual that gave me my markings also stripped me of my memory. Whatever I was before may as well have never been. Perhaps if I knew, I might have felt differently.
How well did you know these Fog Warriors?
I knew them only a few months, but in that time, I felt as if I truly lived. They were bold, strong, free with their affections. I was in awe of them and owed them everything. And I turned on them even so.
This can't be easy to talk about.
I've never spoken about what happened to anyone. I've never wanted to. Perhaps this is what it means to have a friend.
It might mean more than that.
I have never allowed anyone too close. When my markings were created, the pain was extraordinary, and the memory lingers. But you are unlike any woman I have ever met. With you, it might be different.
We could find out.
On another evening, perhaps. A last toast, then. To the fallen.
By the dread wolf! Why is my house always such a mess when people are here? It's clean sometimes, I swear.
Just tell me if you hear more rumblings from the coterie about protection. Blondie's got enough trouble. Let me ask you something, Hawk. You made it into Hightown. I'd expect anyone else to get complacent, but you must have plans.
No plans yet. I'm simply trying to look out for my mother.
I suppose after the whole business with Carver, it's a good idea to hang on to what you've got. To be honest, I thought there might be a chance you'd want to go back to Ferelden now that things have calmed down. It's good to hear you're sticking around.
What would I do without my trusty dwarf? I'd cry myself to sleep without you.
Oh, don't get all teary-eyed on me, Hawk. You know I can't stand to see a human cry. So, we've got a whole city-state full of trouble to get into. Shall we get started?
Isabella, you look well.
Are you talking about the flush on my cheeks? It must be the whiskey. Do you remember the relic I told you about? The one I need to find? I've been following a lead. I'm so close I can taste it.
The search for this thing has consumed you. Let it go.
I just thought I'd let you know that I may soon be taking you up on that offer of help.
You can count on me.
Thanks. I appreciate it. If I learn anything new, you'll be the first to hear about it.
Isabella, my dusky goddess, you have buried yourself in the flesh of my heart like a worm in a red, red apple. You heartworm, you.
Oh, look, my friend is here. Excuse me.
But I haven't gotten to the part where I invite you to feast upon my tender white flesh.
That's all right. I think I'll manage. Speaking of romance, you and Fenris, eh? That taut, controlled body, the brooding demeanor and intense gaze. I hear he still wears the shackles from his life in bondage under his clothes. You know what they say about men like that, don't you?
I'm going to regret asking you to continue, aren't I?
He can't find a saw. I had you there. You thought I was going to say something dirty.
Can I get a...
Why do you always win at cards?
Because I cheat, kitten. This trinket, it's elven, isn't it? From your clan. Don't bet anything you're not prepared to lose. Here, have it back. A jigger of your finest whiskey for my friend over here. The Hanged Man's finest isn't much, but it'll get you just as drunk as anything you'll find in Hightown.
That's generous of you.
What's coin if not for spending, eh?
You could save up to buy yourself a new ship.
There you go, ruining our fun with good sense. I thought I'd have to watch myself around you, but as it turns out, you're all right.
What do you mean I'm all right?
You don't judge people. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty. You know, little things like that. If I had someone like you on board my ship when the storm hit, maybe we wouldn't have been shipwrecked.
If you hadn't been shipwrecked, we wouldn't have met. That would have been a shame.
I'll drink to that.
You've had enough.
Where else can I go? Don't come running to me next time you pick up one of these diseases.
Isn't that the point of magic?
I don't want to know.
Things just keep getting worse. I had Templars practically on my doorstep the other night.
The Templars are hunting you.
Not me specifically. They were just checking the refugee camps. But it's not like this place is a secret. It's only a matter of time.
We haven't talked much recently. How have you been?
Good. I just love what Knight Commander Meredith's done with the place. The curfews, the midnight raids on mages' families. Everyone I know forced into hiding so they won't be made tranquil.
Is that making it harder for you? With justice?
In the Fade, there is no time. Emotion rules everything. Justice doesn't know how to sit idle until the right moment to strike. And I can't say I have any greater patience. I fear what my anger has made of my friend.
You chose to merge with him. Only you can make it work.
I am trying. I have not attacked the Templars openly. I've helped the mages here as best I can, but this impasse cannot last. One day, everyone in Kirk will have to choose a side. The Templars have become more active in their hunt for me. I won't be able to stay here long.
Quiet day in Hightown. Just the way I like it.
You've settled in nicely.
It's been hard work to get here.
Indeed. Still, more coin never hurts, right? Say, if someone wanted to pass some work your way...
I'm listening, Aveline. What's the trouble?
A thorn in my side, inventing trouble and scaring people. Remember Emmerich, the Templar? He wants your help, and some sort of official sanction.
Official sanction?
For his investigation. He's convinced that every random murder in the past few years is connected, and he won't be quiet.
You don't think it's worth investigating?
I have. He even convinced one of my lieutenants to raid the Dupuis mansion. Nothing there. You wouldn't believe how much ass I had to kiss after that. Bloody hobbyist constable. Why can't he spend his declining years building a boat or something?
Seems like it should be easy to prove if there are bodies.
Kirkwall isn't the safest place. That doesn't mean everything terrible is related. There's no sense to that. Can't be.
I seem to recall he had some good leads.
Then you won't mind chasing his threads. If it leads somewhere, I'll pick it up. Right now, he's just distracting my men. He's in the gallows. Do what you can. Thanks, Hawk. I'll try not to make a habit of this.
Why, hello again. Lovely home you have here. And may I say your mother makes for delightful company?
He hasn't been bothering you, has he?
I'll be less bothered when he leaves.
My apologies, Sarah. Your daughter and I simply have a bit of business to conclude.
I'll leave you two alone then. Be careful.
Darling woman. A shame that she spends so much time here alone.
Just what are you saying?
Allow me to get right to the point. I know all this came from Deep Road's treasure. I know you repaid me, but I think I deserve a larger share of your fortune. Fair's fair, right?
I kept my end of the bargain. Now get out.
Pity. Have it your way, Hawk. We'll be seeing each other again, I'm sure.
Sorry, I was expecting treasure, not spiders. Get well soon, love Isabella. Why do I let her drag me into these things? Fenris said Daenerys left this at the mansion. Its eyes follow me around the room. Creepy. Is that... Isabella? Who carves that into a stairwell? Hey, look. A partially burned page from Anders' manifesto.
It's strange living here again. My childhood home. Now owned by my child. I do hope you've been upfront with me about really owning it. I don't want to be at the mercy of that wretched Dougal. It's nice to be here, though. To feel like an Amel again.
I'm going to make the name Hawk one to be proud of in this city.
I don't doubt it. Your father would have said that, with that exact look, too. I just wish we could all be together as a family one more time. But I can't spend the rest of my life mourning Bethany and Carver. They're gone, and I can't bring them back. I guess I just need to start picking you out a suitable husband. I've been wondering if I shouldn't remarry. I've seen how you and that elf look at each other. I'm sure the last thing you need is your mother watching over your shoulder every time you come home. But perhaps there is still life once your children have outgrown you.
You've been through a lot. You deserve any joy you can find.
Thank you, love. No one could ever replace your father. But it is refreshing to think I could still be courted at this age. Seneschal Bran has a son about your age.
If you need any enchantments, I'm sure my boy would be happy to help.
Enchantment!
Just so.
You like the shiny?
Boom! Ah, there he he goes again. How he makes these things, I'll never know.
I've never seen another dwarf like him. Does this run in your family?
Not at all, but Sandal isn't really my son. I found him in the deep roads when I left Rozmowa for good. Raised him as my own now. Isn't that right, my boy?
I like Bodan.
He's always been this way. Always collecting things and enchanting them. Strange, I suppose.
Sandal's quite useful to have around.
That he is. Also, I've always said. Oh, Maker knows what'll happen when I'm gone. I try not to think about it.
I want some pie. I want to go home.
We can go back to Ferelden one day, my boy. I promise.
That's Mother's room. I shouldn't intrude. Handprints? Was someone swinging on the chandelier? Sandal. Never thought I'd have my own family crest. I wonder where Varric is today. Telling stories about my exploits to anyone who will listen, most likely. I should get some curtains. So much has happened since we got here. I'm glad I've got it all written down. Poor Prince. I told him to stay off the bed.